Watch the series finale of X-Men next Saturday morning. Check your local listings.
Hello. You want the goodies? Welcome to the goodie room.
And the Disney stock just keeps going down and down and down. And then Bob Iger is all like,
I think some of the most important things to focus on at the Walt Disney Company are, first and foremost, creative content.
They're going to do the Mary Poppins thing. They're going to do it. They're going to do it.
oh, bitch, you killed Kenny.
Kenny.
You fat hoe.
He who controls the spice controls the universe. And
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Reina Creole, and this, of course, is the Spice Lounge show where we have hot takes and spicy topics, and we just tell it like it is on this show. And not only do I tell it like it is, but I have my panel that also tells it like it is. And we love hearing from you guys in the chat as well to have an amazing, fun show. So I see you folks starting to gather on in. Please do make sure you hit that like button and let people know that the show is on and running. And of course, to kick off the show before I bring in my panelists and of course my special guest, Andrew of the Rippaverse team, we got to do hot topics, right? Absolutely. Hot topics, basically those topics where, you know what, they just snuck in and they caught my eye. And I figured I'd share them with all of you. So first one up. And wow, I was not supposed to ignore the Cinderella background. It's okay. I can't believe I had that one up there for my background. I'm usually much more on point. There we go. Okay. All right. Aquaman of the Lost Kingdom gets streaming debut date on Max. Now, I skipped this movie in the theater because honestly, it didn't look like it was really all that great. Some people told me that it's actually pretty good. You know me, I only care that Jason Momoa is in it because your girl's not really a DC person per se. But I'm glad it's on streaming so I can check it out. It's going to be on HBO Max, of course. Well, now it's just Max on February 27th. So if you have Max, you get to see that. I have Max for free through AT&T, so anything that I can get to see for pretty much free, I am very, very happy with checking out. So we got that. Next up, just when you think Hollywood hasn't scraped the barrel of dumb and overused ideas, they have come up with a spin-off film of Ferris Bueller. Not the further adventures of Ferris Bueller. Remember the two guys in the Ferrari, the valet guys from the movie, and you heard, Star Wars theme playing while they were catching some air in that Ferrari? Yes, they're going to make a spin-off from those two titled Sam and Victor's Day Off. So let's listen to a little bit more of this chicanery going on. The studio has set David Katzenberg, and I believe he's part of DreamWorks, Spielberg, Katzenberg, and Geffen, I believe, to direct the follow-up movie Sam and Victor's Day Off, the Hollywood Reporter has confirmed. Taking place on a single day, the film centers on the two titular valets who borrowed the Ferrari belonging to the father of Alan Ruck's character, Cameron Fry, in the John Hughes original 1986 film. Now, this is just me, but one of the reasons why that scene in Ferris Bueller's Day Off was so funny is because it was just this small scene, that was hilarious, that was played to, Star Wars theme music. It was absolutely freaking perfect. Do I want to see a spin-off movie of this? Those two? No, not particularly. Not to say that it can't be good, but I'm not interested. And once again, Hollywood, you need to get some new ideas. Yes, save this from bad spin-off idea. I like that one. That's a good one. That's a good one. So, yeah, we see you, Paramount. We see you. Speaking of other things, that what's old is new again. I don't know if some of you saw the Nintendo Direct that went on today from the partner, the partner showcase. Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection coming to Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Now, for me personally, I'm looking forward to this because I'm getting back into gaming. As a matter of fact, I'm planning on building my own gaming rig. Just ordered the case. But this is interesting. I missed it the first time around, so I'm kind of looking forward to checking this out. We'll see how it goes. I think from what I understand, it's the classic collection that's coming back. So hopefully, knock wood, cross fingers, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. They won't F with it. Know what I mean? But even better than that, and I'm mad because, well, I'm not mad. Let's just say I was too busy with Hogwarts Legacy. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC launches in June with new bosses, world areas, and a collector's edition. Elden Ring is a sick game. One of the games that basically said, you know what, I need to up my gaming hardware, so to speak. So this DLC is coming in June. So for those of you who don't know what a DLC is, basically if you have the base game, it's extra money for you to pay for some extra cool stuff. Or at least you hope it's going to be cool. So that's that's all of the hot topics. So hope you all enjoyed that. We're all caught up on the hot stuff, so to speak. But you know what? That's the warm stuff. For the hot stuff, we're going to bring our folks on the panel. So, of course, we have got my girl, Retro Nerd Girl. We have got my cousin, Culture Casino. I am so happy. One of my other YouTube friends and buddies from the Ripperverse, Andrew. How are all of you doing?
Doing
Great.
fantastic.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me, Lorena.
Oh, you are very, very, very welcome. Very welcome. Down to pinging all my friends saying, "Hey, want to come on my show? Hey, want to come on my show? Hey, wanna come on my show?"
Always
What's
happy to
now
hang
with
out with you,
that?
Lorena.
And
Oh, thank you.
no one can blame you, Lorena. You got a Rolodex. You can reach out to a lot of folks. So
Yeah.
No, thank you. I like to do that. I'm like, yeah, can you come on my show? Go on my show. I have snacks.
I have snacks. That's right.
Well, first of all, we have got 28 of you folks in here. It's
Nice.
such a great time getting to see you guys all in here. And you know what? That's one of the reasons why I love having my friends in here who hang with the types of things that I do. I'm pretty sure you guys will get a kick out of this. Now, last week, you guys got to see the mod of Disney Dreamlight Valley, but I saw this today. Street Fighter, Ryu from Street Fighter, and Donald Duck. I want this.
I need it.
It's the game we didn't know we needed. Not exactly. I freaking love this.
Oh,
The wheels are already turning. I'm trying to imagine having like Scrooge McDuck in there as well. And like his finisher is he drops a ton of gold on his enemies.
The World War II machine gun. That's what's taking it out for me.
oh man.
That is amazing.
Yes, a good old emulator.
Higher than
Nice job.
That's
Yeah, right, John.
Yes, that's
Wow.
a
absolutely
standing
fantastic.
ovation
I
for.
love it.
Yes.
I need it.
Honestly, I really felt bad when he was getting hit. I was like, no, don't hurt my Donald.
He just came back. Got the
Yes.
machine gun after World War II.
Oh. Well, he even had a bat, right? Was it a bat or a
mallet. A
a
mallet.
mallet? Oh gosh, he was
Kicking it
pulled
old
that out of his
school.
back pocket. I was like, bam.
Pulled that out of his non-existent pants.
It's just
yeah, very fun.
it's just so cool when you see stuff like this that brings back, like the stuff that you used to watch back in the day, and they update it, but not really. It's kind of like this weird, I won't say weird place, but it's just, hey, we got more technology. How about if we do so and so versus so and so? I wonder what that would look like. And then you get stuff like this, and it's just like,
Yeah.
man,
The modding
It's the-
community for video games is incredible. Like, there's some of the most creative stuff that you see people come up with.
oh my God, they so are. I'm just
Yeah.
like, I love it. I love watching.
even
I love
better
watching.
now.
Yeah. And I'm hoping, once I get a rig that's actually perfect for gaming, I'm gonna be dropping into I'll be dropping into that.
And
But
this-
oh, sorry,
The
go ahead, my
saddest
dear.
part, well, the saddest part is that Disney didn't come up with it first. There was that's the sign of an incredible company is you got to come up with this stuff first before the fans create it, and even still, I doubt if they'll actually like look at this and say, hey, great idea, let's put this in production, because they'd make a lot of money.
I would love a Super Smash Brothers that just had just the Disney characters in it.
I loved the Mortal Kombat mod that it was all the Disney characters Like that was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen. I was like, yeah, I want to break some spines as Maleficent. Hell yeah.
Oh, that one was the one that hooked me, and I saw that. I'm like,
So
that's
good.
the game I'm playing now, but they modded it. I'm just like, I freaking need it. I so need it.
It's incredible.
And it's pretty amazing. I mean, you know, that somebody's able to get that mod to work, and with all the animations and everything. I mean, that's hard work, man. Whoever's
Somebody had to
doing
create the
those.
modeling. The models for
Yeah.
those characters aren't in that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I need this game in my life. Yes.
A lot of us do. We're like,
We all
yes.
do. I think that's
We
the
all
general
the
consensus
game.
right now.
Yes, the game we didn't know we needed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, if they had that in the if they had that in the arcade back when I was a kid, I'd have been like, oh yeah, I'd have loved it.
Mhm. Like, give me more quarters. Give me more quarters.
Yeah.
Like
I said, you know, they should have came up with this first.
yeah. Yeah. Man, you know, we're getting what? Epic Mickey. Nah, we need this game.
I know Donald Duck
This
is
would sell
kicking
way
butt.
more. This would sell way more.
Oh yeah, it would sell a heck of a lot more. But speaking of like those nostalgic feelings, you know, that you would get at one time. Well, first of all, thank you, 34 of you folks in here watching. Thank you so very much. So glad that you're here hanging out with us in the Spice Lounge. Now, your girl, when I heard about X-Men 97 in the beginning, I'm like, okay, that's kind of interesting. I used to watch the X-Men comic. Well, I have some of the X-Men comics that I would get, but I really like the X-Men 90s animated series. I never got tired of watching it. I would watch it, you know, after school, whenever I got a chance to watch it. That was I would say, it sounds bad, but this is just me. It was a soap opera for me in a way, like a superhero soap opera. That's what the X-Men cartoon was like. And for me personally, when it came to the X-Men, out of all the characters in the Marvel Universe, the X-Men grabbed me the most. And the reason why is this: because you had these mutants who weren't trusted by society, looked down upon by society, being prejudiced against by society. And you have this man, Charles Xavier, who's absolutely brilliant in a wheelchair and absolutely brilliant, think like Stephen Hawking in a way. And he has this special school just for these mutant kids, as it, yes, I'm going to use the term safe space, but where they were accepted, where they could learn to use their powers, and where they could learn from mentors who have been where they are now at that point in time. Now, for your girl, when I was in high school, I didn't feel like I fit in at all. Visibly, I was a cheerleader, so I fit in with that particular group. I had friends who were nerds, but I fit in, but not, not really, because hardly anybody believed it. And at that point in time, if you had nerdy type of hobbies or something like that, oh no, don't talk about them. Do not talk about them. Do not even let people know that that's what you were in. That's what you were interested, what you were interested in. And at times I got pushback, we'll say initial pushback if you didn't know me, from the nerd community when I'm like, yeah, I'm interested in so-and-so and I'm interested in that. And I go in a comic shop and I'm interested in that. They're like, oh, are you buying comics for your boyfriend? I'm like, I understand why you said that, but no, I'm buying them for me. Oh, okay. What are you interested in? Then I come back the next week and they're like, guess what? We got this for you. We got this for you. Do you want this? Do you want this? Some guy's like, hey, I was waiting for that. Yeah, whoever you are here. Do you want this? So that was my particular experience with the X-Men. I loved all of the characters. I felt like I belonged when I saw them, when I saw the cartoon, when I read the comics. So when I heard about this character twist, and we'll get to it in a minute, it irritated me on a whole lot of levels. But let me hear from you guys on the panel, your familiarity with the X-Men comic and or 90s cartoon.
Yeah, I'll jump right in. The 90s X-Men animated series alongside the Spider-Man animated series that was running around the same time, and then all the DC animated stuff from the 90s. That was like my second religion growing up. Was those shows. I watched them every single day that there was a rerun, watched the new episodes every single week. I was so into the X-Men and Spider-Man. And the X-Men, you talked a little bit there, Lorena, about how they were outcasts from society and how, like, back then, when you were in school and growing up and watching and reading this stuff, how us geeks were kind of looked down upon in a similar way. That's one of the reasons that made the X-Men so successful, is they were just universally analogous to anybody who has ever felt ostracized, anybody who's ever felt othered. And so when you do that, when you create characters that literally anybody can relate to in some way, shape, or form, you're going to have like lightning in a bottle there. That's what they had with the X-Men. I adored almost everybody. And it's funny, a lot of my friends, Wolverine was their favorite or Cyclops was their favorite. I was always about Gambit and Rogue. And my favorite X-Men character is actually Nightcrawler, so it's Kurt. And then I love Emma, love Storm. Storm's one of those characters that's always funny. People like to play historical revisionism and act like, all the white male comic fans don't like black characters or don't like female characters. I'm like, well, most of us that grew up in the 80s and 90s, one of our favorite characters was Storm, and she checks both of those boxes. So, sit and spin.
I'll let you go first, Casino.
Okay, well, I'm a little different because I'm older than all y'all. Well, except, and I'm saying that.
Stan was still writing the X-Men when Culture was collecting.
Yeah, that's actually true. But when I was collecting books, it was a little bit different. And again, I didn't get as deeply into the animated series, although one of my friend's kids, huge fan. So anytime I was over there, that was likely, playing on the TV. And, this is back in the day where you could record programs, and that oftentimes was what was done. So it was an interesting time. I loved the books. The collection that I have is, well read. I didn't become careful with my comics until I was an adult. That was about in my 20s, and a water heater took out my very first appearance of Thor.
Oh.
So yeah, bye Thor. So, and from that point forward, and that's the horror story I always tell. I always take care of my comics now. But as a younger person, as a kid, and we talked a little bit backstage, this is one of the books you'd pick up. When you took your bike down there, or you took your first car to the convenience store or your local comic shop. And back then, comic shops were not something that was as much a thing as they did eventually become. And Lorena's showing off.
While Kelsey's talking.
Lorena's showing off right there. And there's a decent chance, and I know Lorena and I had the same experience of, maybe going down to the convenience store and grabbing a plastic wrap package of comics. And for me, it was the lunch money, right? So back in the day, when you would have kids be kids, I would ride my bicycle down to the convenience store. I was telling the story, and I'd pick up, a package of comics if I had enough money that I saved from lunch and whatever. Or if I begged it off my mom, I was telling them all the story. And you'd ride your bike that half mile and pick it up, and you'd be good for comics. And sometimes when you went to the grocery store, with your dad or something, you could try to scam another package of comics. But and back then I loved everything. There was Disney comics and all kinds of things that you could pick up, and you war comics and all that. And X-Men was just one of those books that that I think Andrew's right. It spoke to everybody. You can talk about, the reasons it does. And both of you hit on those, but I identified, or I appreciated characters that were not male, like I liked, Jean Grey and Rogue, and, my fascination was with young ladies. But again, I was a young man, so that's probably explains an awful lot. But as I grew up, my appreciation for comics grew until about The early 2000s, and then I was done. And that's unfortunate, you know. I think my last comic I bought that wasn't one of the newer independent ones, of course, Eric July's books and stuff like that, but it was a Spider-Man book, and I think it was 2014. So, you know, and that's sad. I mean, the hobby just died in me. I no longer had a pull list. I mean, we used to go down to what we called when I was high school, we would go down to the Fat Man's comic shop and pick them up. And one of my friends would just keep trying to introduce me to new books, and I'm like, nah, I'm just going to pick up my favorites. And one of my favorites was X-Men.
Yeah. My experience was a little similar to yours, because when I was coming up, I actually didn't have an allowance until much later, and when I did save up my money for allowance, we didn't have comic book shops. We had like newsstands where they had, or like like news. I don't want to say like nooks where you can get newspapers, you could get magazines, and you could get like comic books, and you could get naughty magazines. Well, I always got Heavy Metal magazine, which was way over my age. I wasn't supposed to get those, but they sold it to me, and I took them. I love those books. And then, but I would always take a glance at all the other comics, and it was Spider-Man, it was X-Men, and you can find many a day where Storm was on the front of the cover. And I didn't think that was something that I needed to remember, but it was just something that was always there. People seem to love the character.
Oh yeah.
And I
Storm?
just didn't see
adorable.
I didn't see any difference. When the cartoons came out, I was grown by then, and I had too much stuff going on. But I would catch I would catch like a glimpse of it. I may have seen like one or two episodes when I had the chance, but I had always had a very like casual experience with the series, not intense as probably most people was, but and I completely identify with your story, Lorraine, about being sort of an outcast in school. And X-Men, once the movies came out, that's when I really got more interested into it. And I kind of felt like that they actually, the way they were ousted in society in the movies kind of made me like feel like, oh yeah, that's kind of how I felt in high school and other school systems, just kind of not fitting in, and not being part of an accepted group or anything like that, but just like misfits, if you will, but with a heck of a lot of power. Those guys had a lot of cool powers, and being a nerd, yeah, definitely. Those are the kind of powers you wish you had.
I hold in my hand my favorite trade.
Ooh, let me see.
Ah.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this is back in the day when this trade, which is fantastic. This trade was $4.95.
Wow.
Wow.
That is a $24.99 book now.
I know. And it's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, it's amazing. So these are all 4 collectors item issues in one trade. So this book, I obviously it's not. This was I had as a young person. I did not take care of this one. I didn't take care of the trades like this very very well, but these are the ones I always have handy to grab, and this is one of them. And like I said, I mean, this obviously isn't Marvel, but I have Marvels as well. So it's when you start telling stories about it, you just get reminded about all the great storylines that were in them. I mean, they really, towards the end here, they kind of wrecked the X-Men because they went off in a very odd way in the live action films. And, I kind of noped out The first
Me
ones I
too.
enjoyed, but it got less intriguing. I don't know, Andrew. Did you Retro Nerd Girl?
So I enjoy the first two X-Men films quite a lot. Last
Mhm.
Stand is it's a movie. It
True.
did a piss poor job of doing Dark Phoenix, and
Yes.
when they rebooted the film,
That was wild.
please
Yeah.
don't remind me of Dark Phoenix. Oh my
they
God, that was
somehow
horrible.
managed to do it even worse the second time around. But I actually really love the first two of the second set of X-Men films. So First Class and Days of
Yeah,
Future
First
Past.
Class. Yeah.
Yes.
Both of those movies were done extremely well. Now, Days of
Yeah.
Future Past is one of those instances where I have to judge the movie on two different things. I talk about this on the High Council all the time, where I judge it on the kind of objective, universal things that can be applied to any movie, right? How's the pacing? How's the cinematography? How's the script? Yada, 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 all that, how the effects, all that good stuff. And so, I judge it based on that. But then also, it's supposed to be adapting this thing. Okay, so now how do I feel about it based on the thing it's supposed to be adapting? Well, that's a different story when it comes to Days of Future Past, because I've read Days of Future Past. That movie has almost nothing to do with the comic
Oh
book.
boy.
But as a movie, it was very well done. First Class, however, that's just, in my opinion, that's the best X-Men film front to back.
I
They did
love
a
that.
fantastic job with
I
that
have
movie.
that one on DVD. I think I have all of them up to that one. First Class. It's like I the movies, it's like I enjoyed them. I said, yeah, I could see those little departures, from then on, but they were good. But after First Class, I was just like, I don't really feel interested anymore. They kind of didn't have the comic feel for me, or at least for me to want to see like, hey, there's a comic and in live action. I know for myself, for favorite characters, I like Wolverine because I just wanted to be left the hell alone most of the time. Don't bother me, don't bug me. I loved him as like he was just this tough, gruff, but he would just screw you up. But man, if Jean Grey showed up,
he turned into a teddy bear.
Totally.
Yeah.
Only for her. And I love that.
Me too. And I look, the reason I brought it up is because now we're returning back to an era that all of us should remember, because it was, far enough back that the stories being told would have been things that we would have paid attention to and enjoyed. With this 97 spinoff, or I guess rebirth. I don't know what you want to call this.
It's supposed to be a continuation.
Yeah, it didn't really look like one. If you're continuing it and you're bringing back a character that's dead, how's that working out for you?
Yeah.
But and of course I'm referring to the one, the character they decided to recharacterize. And the rest of this stuff has been leaking out there about how they've changed it.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that, because that's the part that a lot of people are missing. Like the Mary Sue is missing. I don't usually like to feature the Mary Sue, but dang it, since one of their writers wound up blocking me on Twitter, I've never interacted with this chick. But yeah, I forget what the heck her name is. But anyway, I never interact with her. But guess what? Now you're really on my radar, Mary Sue. So you're gonna get the brunt of this. X-Men 97 added a character twist that's pissing off all the right people. Okay, number one, if this is what you start off with, you're nowhere near a fan of the X-Men. And you don't understand. And if you were a true fan of the X-Men comics and understood what comics nerds like us do, you would understand that it's not about, how would I say this? It's not what you think we're pissed off about. But I'll get into this a little bit. So the first trailer reveals some beloved characters and a couple of faces that newer fans may not recognize. Now, I did love the music. When I heard it, I got all the feels from watching the X-Men cartoons. I'm like, okay. Animation feels a little flat, but all right, we can kind of flow with it.
More than one way.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Some of us fat bottom girls are not happy y'all don't like fat bottom girls anymore. I mean, what's up with that?
Don't
let me
loop me in with that.
Yeah, let me take a poll here. Yeah, I do not want a plank of wood. Okay, no, thank you. All right.
No, we do not want women who look like they have a steady diet of no ass at all. Okay.
I
Just-
liked
Yeah.
Rogue before I knew I even liked girls.
Yeah,
Okay? So-
well, I'm just telling you, man. The only dump truck you're seeing in this animation seems to belong to the guys. So watch out.
Woo!
Woo, man. This is why I love y'all. So check this out. For instance, is that guy standing to the far right during Charles Xavier's apparent death scene? More importantly, why is he suddenly pissing off right-wing fans? Now, why do you have to be right-wing to marry Sue?
Well, they
Go
think.
right ahead.
And no, I'm so sorry, Lorena. I
No, no,
normally
no,
don't do that,
no,
but they honestly think that they can repurpose whatever they want and it's not going to offend anybody. They're taking what we love as nerds and geeks and they're repurposing it for their own purposes. Not to continue a story for any logical reason, but just to repurpose it so they can insert their garbage into it, whatever it happens to be. I would be as frustrated if they tried to align this in a different way politically. It would still irritate me, and I think I speak for myself, but I believe I speak for a larger group of people. Don't change things to suit your ideology. Just continue. If this is a continuation, continue on. Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. So.
Oh no, that's okay. We need a culture rant on this on this show. But yeah, and you're absolutely right. But I want to kind of hear from Retro Nerd Girl and Andrew. Now, this character Moore, who I have to say I didn't even remember who this dude was. Apparently, this is Disney's version of Morph.
He was
Okay.
killed off in the first episode.
Okay. All right. So that's probably why I didn't know who the heck he was.
He did episode 1 or 2. One of the
So
two.
he's basically a red shirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, I'm wearing a red shirt. How about it?
sorry.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's killed up super fast. He's a minor character, but it serves to he's one of those things that's like the death is used to serve the growth and plot of the other characters. So he was never meant to be a super important character just on his own. It was that the loss of him wound up facilitating the arc of other characters and the arc of the plot as a whole. This is so annoying when they do this kind of thing, and it doesn't matter what it is, what's a gender swap, a sexuality swap, race swap, whatever it is, when they start to push a narrative and then they say the quiet part out loud where they say, hey, it's pissing off all the right wingers. Okay, first of all, it's pissing off way more than just right wingers. It's pissing off X-Men fans, and X-Men fans comprise a lot more than just right wingers, right? I don't consider myself a quote unquote right winger, and I'm pissed off about this just as much as I'm pissed off about. Okay, I'm actually admittedly probably a little more pissed off about them getting rid of Rogue's booty, but that's because Rogue's one of my favorite characters.
Understandably.
So I'm personally offended and insulted by that. This is cultural appropriation. Our geek culture is what it is when they take it and they twist it to suit their own ideologies, just as culture was saying. Don't do that. I don't care if you're going to twist it to push a left-wing message or a right-wing message. Do the story the way that it was intended. That's all you have to do. What did we say at the top of the show? The X-Men were created in such a way that they were universally relatable to everyone. Didn't matter if you were left-wing, right-wing, black, white, polka dot, striped like a zebra. Didn't matter, right? We all loved these characters and we all loved the stories because they were universally relatable. And when they decide to push one particular ideology or another, it does a disservice to these characters and to the fans. And it's so annoying that they're doing this with this. They had a perfect recipe already. because a lot of the lessons that a lot of these people, like the writers at the Mary Sue, if we really want to call them writers, that's being very
Yeah.
liberal with the word. Or any of
Writers.
these other any of these other geek websites that are staffed by tourists who don't actually like this stuff. And you can tell that they don't actually like this stuff because they advertise it. They tell you. All you have to do is read the article, even in the first paragraph, and they advertise that they're not actually fans of this. They're just fans of it getting twisted to suit their own beliefs.
And you know, Andrew, you're absolutely right with that. And I've had people come at me, you know, on Twitter. Well, X-Men is diverse, and you know, it's for marginalized people, and you know, Morph is marginalized, and why do you hate gay people? Pretty much. Let's put that in a nutshell. That's pretty much what it is, because you don't want to put up with this. I'm like, I look at it like this, and we'll go a little somewhat political. I am as pissed off about Morph having all of a sudden his sexuality be his identity as non-binary, as much as it pisses me off when people try to equate the struggle for LGBTQIA rights with the civil rights movement. That pisses me off. And we'll flip it another way. What if they decided to make one of, let's say you had an established character who, let's say, who was non-binary, but somebody says, okay, guess what? We're going to make them heterosexual. Why? We don't want to do the work with creating a new character, because creating a new character takes work. It takes work, it takes dedication, it takes caring about the characters. And anime is extremely good at making you care about every single character, even if they're on screen for, you know, a couple of minutes. There's a reason and there's a purpose, and they get
Japanese
you
do it like it's
emotionally
going out of style.
invested.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, did any of you watch the recent Cyberpunk anime on Netflix?
Yes, I did. Edge
Okay.
I still
Runners.
haven't seen
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
It's
you
on my
need to.
list.
It's so good. And Lorena, how long did it take you to care about the characters that were in that anime?
I want to say probably within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
With that montage that you saw.
You know, and the medical stuff and everything that happened,
Oh my
the sequence of events and the tragedy and all that, and you're immediately invested in these characters. And when you were introduced to the rest of the crew, that's a gradual process, but it's done very quickly. And it is the events that happen in the course of that anime. If you haven't seen it, you should. But it is they immediately grab you. Modern animation is incapable of doing that. Modern comics are incapable of doing that. You have to go to the independent folks. You have to go to, you know, Eric July's projects. You have to go to, you know, some of the Comics Gates projects. You have to go to like the independent. You have to go to Peddlin' Pete, Alterna Comics. You have to go outside of the normal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, weeb. Anyway, sorry, I was talking to Spencer, but you have to go outside to find the good things. And believe me, I back the good things. It's hard to get an audience to care about things. Nobody wants to put in the work. So that's why they repurpose this stuff. Anyway, another rant, a tirade. I'll shut up again. I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah, I think that I understand the issue, even though I'm kind of a little bit more detached from it, but I'm kind of tired of the same problem they keep encountering and still not understanding where the fans are really coming from. And which is, you know, if you're going to say that this is a true continuation of the story, they've already defeated that. And so also with this, you know, changing the characters fundamentally is also like, why don't we know the, you know, the pronouns for everybody else? Like, why? Who is this character? Like, who is this character? And we don't know anything about what the character does or will mean to the new series, and yet we know about that they're non-binary. We should learn that during the course of the story. And so you can't bypass story and make it about agenda first and story last. That should be woven in. And this is why they've already started to fail. Now, hopefully, when people look at this piece of content, it is actually good. But you can't lead with the with something like that. Like, hey guys, we do have one representation for what a couple of you guys out there. That makes no sense. Is it a good story? And reveal that slowly. And this is how people are, get to love characters that they never thought that they ever would love before. Just give the story a chance to reveal that.
Well, I think you
Exactly.
put that perfectly. They put story in the back burner. They tell you what their priorities are. Their priority is that Morph is now non-binary. Their priority isn't getting to endear this character to readers. And unfortunately, even though it's not 100% the case when they have somebody that's part of the promotional marketing or whatever, or a spokesperson for these
Mhm.
projects, sometimes they'll say dumb stuff and then you go and watch the thing or consume the thing, whatever the medium is, and that's nowhere to be seen. They were just blowing smoke up everybody's rear, right? Where it's like, oh, I see, you were just trying to get virtue signal points. That actually isn't a part of it, or if it is, it's to such a minuscule amount compared to what you were kind of purporting. But unfortunately, more often than not, it is the case where when they lead with this, they're telling you how it's going to be in the actual finished product itself. And that's sad because it never does anything to service the story. As you said, it never does anything to service the character. Great examples are when Marvel decided to, out of nowhere, have Jean Grey tell Bobby Drake, Iceman, that he was gay. This was, decades and decades after the character had been kind of a ladies' man and
Mhm.
completely straight. There had never been any iota or hint of otherwise. All of a sudden, he's gay, and not just gay, but like ironically, with him being Iceman, like flaming gay. And it was to the point where that was the whole thing. That it didn't do anything to service the character, didn't do anything to service the stories. All it was like every single issue that he was in was now just him doing or saying something that was very stereotypical, super, super gay. And it's like, well, you just threw away the character. You didn't do anything new with the character. You just made him like super gay. And now he's no longer even the character. Doesn't talk like the character used to, doesn't act like the character used to, doesn't do
Mm.
anything like that. DC did the same thing with Tim Drake a few years back. They did the same thing with John Kent, Superman's son. And again, it never does anything to service the story or character. What changed about the character? Well, nothing important in terms of like it being a benefit to the stories that were being told. All it did was just take away, right? It just took away they replaced, they supplanted what was there, the characterization, decades of continuity and history, and they replaced it
Mhm.
with this thing, and then that's the only thing that exists because they just ignore everything else.
And that's and it's such a thing that these people, and I will say these people who want to virtue signal with their work instead of creating something or creating work that people can really relate to. I look at it this way. It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. And I would give these people much more props if they would have just put this out here and didn't say a word. Just said, you know what? I hope you like it. We're trying to pay homage to, the 90s X-Men series and leave it at that. And if the story is good, and then like say you come out with this line here because they're talking about Rogue and the showrunner says there's a lot of LGBTQ folks that tell me that they can really relate to her because of the same reasons. Rogue really embodies that because she always seems to be struggling with accepting herself for who she is, warts and all. Now, I don't have a problem with that because that was the heartbreaking part with Rogue. She couldn't touch anyone. If she did, she would kill you. And human touch is something that's fundamental,
Mhm.
to human nature. She couldn't relate to people that way, and that was heartbreaking. We saw that, and it's like, and I can see how people could identify with that, because then again, that's what the X-Men was about. All of these, mutant powers that make you an outcast with society, and you're trying to reconcile that and relate to the world. Now, if they would have put this out there first and then talked about how people related to it, that would be different. But what this tells me, and what, people like us have been saying, as soon as they lead with this, it's almost like I'm not going to say almost, it is like using that trait as a token, pretty much, for the most part. There's nothing characterized that should draw us to it. We should just be drawn to it because of this. And that's why you have so many people who shill on social media, who have the nerve to tell comic book nerds like us, how dare we not like having our characters basically retconned for the most part. You should sacrifice your beloved characters for the greater good. That's what that is.
Yeah, as a fan, you spend you work hard, you spend money, for, like, if you're, especially if you loved a lot of these characters since you were kids, you ask
Like 5.
you ask people for money. You were like, please give me some money so I could go buy a comic book.
Please, I'll do it for chores, I promise. Maybe.
Yeah. So there's an intense connection with these characters. You can't just go changing them like that. That's just abuse at that point, and hoping and then yelling at them if they don't like what you did with the characters. Like, you can't, and calling them all kinds of names because it suits you, it makes you feel better, that you feel like you're above everybody. Well, I changed the character. I don't care. Like, if you got you know someone like Wolverine, and you changed his character to be like a thief, and or smarmy kind of guy, people would be very outraged, because this is a character. I'm pretty certain most people like him. He's just one of those characters that is just synonymous with X-Men. He's a staple in that group, and you wouldn't want to mess with that character. Even when they came out with a different kind of costume, that was kind of a joke for the fans. So
Yeah, people were actually upset when that first movie came out from Fox. People were like, where's the yellow? Where is it?
At least like a hint of it. They just went full on.
And yeah, it was funny that they put in the joke in the movie. It was like, what would you prefer, yellow spandex? I was like,
yeah.
That's fine. And it's not like the suits that they had weren't cool, but they just made them all look the same. And that was in a way a throwback to the old school, like original X-Men, where they all did kind of wear basically the same suit. It just, they made the suits actually look better than those, because those original suits were pretty bad. But to your point, yeah, if you change anything fundamental about these characters, fans, actual fans, not tourists, are going to be upset. If they made Logan into this like hugs and teddy bears super nice guy, I'd be pissed. And Wolverine isn't even in my top, I don't even think he's in my top 10, honestly, when it comes to the X-Men. But I like him, and I would be pissed. And I'm sure all of the mega Logan fans would be even more so, right? Just as I would be pissed if they changed Storm to be, instead of having this presence about her, this almost goddess-like presence and energy that she exudes, while also having a very motherly, nurturing temperament about her. Like, and the dichotomy there is so crazy, because she commands storms, and yet she has this very motherly, tender presence about her as well when she wants to, when she's interacting with people she cares about. If they changed that and just made her some hard ass, and basically gave her Wolverine's personality, I'd be pissed.
Yeah, but I mean, let's just be honest. We all wouldn't care anything about Cyclops. So.
I would like if Cyclops actually wasn't such a
Yikes.
POS when it comes to the
He
women.
was
that
always a
is
jerk.
Dang.
well, he is a terrible boyfriend.
Yes,
actually.
he is.
Like
Yeah.
I
he-
wanted to smack him upside the head so many. Again, that's why I keep saying the X-Men cartoon for me was superhero soap opera because I would do yell the same thing at like lousy husbands and boyfriends in soap operas. Like, you suck. Why are
Jean
you
Grey
still with him? You
dies, so he
didn't
goes with
dump
Madeline
him.
Pryor just because she looks like Jean Grey. And then as soon as Jean Grey's back, he just dumps Madeline like she was
Wow.
nothing. No wonder she turned off into pissed off, raging bee. And then when Jean's gone again, then he goes with Emma, and then it's just all this
Yeah.
back and forth. And it's like, you're horrible.
He's a hoe.
He's a good
he
leader if you just
Yeah.
take the other leadership qualities. Like, he's good as a team leader, but I prefer Storm as team leader. I prefer Emma Frost as team leader to him. Like, he's
I do
gosh,
too.
he's bad. He is so bad.
He's horrible. He's the worst. He is. He is. That's why I used to love when just Wolverine would just freaking mess with him. I love that. But to get to another, and I forget which X-Men film it was, and I'm probably forgetting on purpose. One of them, Wolverine spent too much time worried about other people's feelings. And I'm just like, this is not who Wolverine is.
It's
He
not a
doesn't
Logan
have
trait.
a lot of time talking. If Logan's talking, he's either about to kill somebody or he's talking to someone that he respects, like Professor Xavier, if he's talking to him, or if he wants to talk to Jean, if he even gets a hint that she's upset about something, then all of a sudden, he starts talking. But I didn't even like that, that drifting part going on. So to have, characters change that way, it does it to service two ways. It's like, one, you're making characters based on whatever agenda it is that you want to push. And, like I tell people, if that's your artistic vision, that's your artistic vision. But I'll tell you this much, it's not going to bode well for you to piss off a built-in fan base who will take their money and their viewing time and take it somewhere else. And you have no one else to blame but you.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that's the risk that they have. It's sort of like, okay, we know that fans want what's in the books and they've been buying the comic books for years, but we want to get a brand new audience and include a brand new audience, get everyone to like this content.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the process of trying to get more like, hey, we want more of the female audience, or we want more of this audience. It is manipulation in a way, which, I mean, being a part of those groups and seeing like, okay, you're using this as a tool to get me to go to the movies, and the intention is just make money, get a wider audience. Very, very gross. And so I think this whole thing where it's like, oh, well, you don't like this movie, you are a whatever ist or whatever, like just so they can make more money. And you've ruined it. You've ruined the IPs that you're working on, and you've insulted the fan base that was already ready to give you money. All you had to do was copy the stuff that was already there and maybe throw in some sprinkles of something new, especially a new story, right? That's all you have to do. The formula is right there for you, and you keep messing every single time. How many times is this going to keep going before somebody opens up their eyes and says, let's give the fans what they want? It's already there. All the representation is already inside of X-Men. It's right there. You don't have to mess with it anymore. So I'm curious as to what they plan on doing with all the new character, but also I also feel bad for those people who are like, yeah, this person is supposed to represent me, And do they actually have a story for this character? And are they going to spend more time nursing this new character or this old character that they changed instead of one of the main characters that really means something to the story that people already love?
Very well said. Very well said. I don't know. It does not look like they care about the old school fans. That they care about the comics heads or even the normies who, they may, because the vintage comic market, that's making a ton of money. I've walked into a lot of comic shops where there aren't a whole lot of new comics, but the vintage comics,
Yes.
people are constantly trying to go through them to find, find stuff, find the omnibuses and all of that. Even the normies, even if they see like, the X-Men films, like, okay, I wonder what the comics are like. Go back and check those out. But now it just seems like the likes of Marvel, again, owned by Disney, are all about trying to signal how woke they are, which brings me to this article from That Park Place. And actually, Ripa just did a video, I think it's yesterday, where what he did about, you will have these people who will say, oh, well, Stan Lee said that the X-Men were always woke. Or my favorite, that he based Magneto and Professor X on Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. I spit out my coffee when I saw that. I said, I'm sorry. Where the heck did you freaking get this? But this is what they'll say. X-Men was always woke, so I don't know what your problem is.
Well, I mean, it did speak for a lot of things. So you could make some associations with it, and you could make any associations with it. I mean, again, we had talked about being kind of misfits or not really quite fitting into a mold that maybe some people felt like, that person's weird or that person's strange. The X-Men did that. They had that woven in, and they didn't make it about any one. It's really like spoke unanimously for all. Even the first two movies did it excellently. Unfortunately, I tapped out after the the Wolverine movie, the second after the first Wolverine movie. I tapped out.
Oh, X-Men Origins. Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess I
that
can't
was.
blame you.
I was
That
like,
movie's
that's
really
it.
bad.
Yeah.
I guess I can't really blame you for that. No, y'all
Yeah.
are absolutely right. I mean, that just goes back to making characters that are universally relatable. People from any group are just going to be able to do that as they're consuming it. Doesn't matter what their background is. They're going to be able to, make that connection for them personally as the viewer, as the reader, whatever it is. But there's a difference between that and the creator of that property intentionally doing it for one group or another. And in Stan Lee's own words, he did not. His own words. He said, no, it was the furthest thing from his mind. He had no intention of that. But when people brought it to his attention, he was like, oh, okay, I guess I could see how you can make that connection. But that's because his intention was just making characters who anybody who felt ostracized at any point could relate to. And a zillion different people feel ostracized at any point in their lives. Just any teenager,
Oh yeah.
growing up could feel
Mm-hmm.
ostracized in some way, shape, or form. So they're going to be able to connect with it. So there's a huge difference between that and what these people are claiming that they were created for. And in his own words, no, he didn't create them to be analogous to MLK and Malcolm X. He didn't create them to be analogous for the gay rights stuff. Neither did Chris Claremont when he took over on writing duties. That's when the parallels really started getting drawn between the whole Xavier and and Magneto being analogous to MLK and Malcolm X, that's when those parallels really started to get drawn more. But even then, that wasn't his intention either, as he has also said in his own words.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of it, and the beauty of characters and stories like this is that you can see yourself in these stories. You can see history in these stories, and that's why they're so awesome. I want us to get back to some of that instead of talking about this, like, oh, this is this is that, or this is that. I just want to get back to the story, to enjoying wonderful tales about characters that we like. What happened to that? We're losing our ability to actually connect with characters that are in our stories. It's just
Absolutely.
Well, they're intentionally trying to alienate you, so you've recognized it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And they're not even covering it up anymore.
No, they're not
They're
even
just
shy
like,
about it. They say the quiet
no,
part out loud.
yeah, they're just like, we don't want you as fans. If you don't like this, hey, it's on you.
They flat out
It's
tell us that we're not good enough to be their fans. We have to be righteous enough for them, like to consume their product. And
Yeah,
like,
well,
okay, fine, bet. See ya.
I'm going to say a bad word. We were here first, bitch.
Yeah. Come back and talk to us, y'all. Please don't scream. Come back and talk to us. When you have a ton of comics that you freaking need to bag up, because you didn't really know about bagging anything up. You're just like, oh, just get the comic, put it somewhere, put it in a box, and keep it there. But let's see. One last word from someone here.
I'd like to say a few words about your arrest record. What the hell?
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up.
So we're gonna wrap this topic up, folks. So X-Men 97, what are your prognostications about how you think this show is going to go over? Do you think the majority of people are just not even going to be interested in seeing it, or what's your thoughts? For farts and smiles, what's your thoughts?
I just think this is a bad way to get started, and a lot of people will probably miss it, and a few people will review it and give their assessment. I think that's what people are going to wait for, the reviewers to review it before they check it out, which is probably what they're most likely going to do. And look, if you're not satisfied and you're tired with this stuff, which people have already started to do, is just don't support it, don't watch it, don't engage with it, and show some love to something else that you think is doing it right. Because with them coming out of the gate like this is just really it's not only is it pandering, but it's also insulting to those groups. It's that they're trying to get them to watch the show and not really catering to the actual need of taking the time to build a character that people like, and then give us that information. Give us a story first and make it personal, so we can get to love the character. We don't know who this character is. They've kind of, even though it's an old character, it's a new character. In many ways. So it is disappointing that there was just an earnings call that was like, oh yeah, we're going to change, and we get this, and it's like, you've already this. They just should have stayed quiet about this and wait till the people saw the show first before actually talking about this. It's a little ahead of what it should have done. It put the horse before the carriage. It had put the carriage before the horse. and so we're like, what why are you unloading this character on us without giving us the story? Because that should have been, hey, we're at this point in time with the X-Men, and this character's doing this character's doing that. That's what the report should be telling us and getting us excited about what we're gonna see.
Yeah, I think there's enough nostalgia power behind this to where it's at least at first going to do all right. At that point, it's going to be a matter of like, okay, so disconnect, which is going to be really hard for me. The flattening of Rogue's booty. Disconnect that. Disconnect. I take that very personally. Okay, that is a personal attack
I don't
on
blame
my
you.
childhood. And disconnect the whole stupid non-binary retcon to morph. Okay, outside of those things, how is the quality of the show? Like, do the rest of the characterizations actually track? Is all of this smoke and mirrors in terms of them saying, oh, well, we've had a lot of people tell us over the years that, Rogue really helps them identify with their LGBT insert whatever other letters and numbers they have at the end now. That identity, like, okay, does that actually play a part, or are you just talking, right? Are you just blowing smoke up their rear end to make it look like that's that? Because you're trying to get them to give you money, you're trying to get them to sign up for Disney Plus, trying to get them to watch your thing, right? So it's okay, is the quality there? Like, is the writing there? Because if the writing's there and it's good, then it's the writing's there and it's good. I can say, okay, I disagree with these changes that they've made, but is the quality still there? That's what's going to keep your general audience around, right? That's what's going to keep your people who maybe because everybody's got a different level of tolerance for all of this, like,
Right.
social stuff that gets pushed into this. Everybody's at a different space, right? Some of us are we've thrown it out whole cloth, right? We're done, right? Both hands. And then others are like, okay, I still love the X-Men. I want this to be good. Like, I would love this to be fantastic. I would love to sit down, binge this, and it make me feel like I'm 6 years old again, right? I don't think that's going to be the case. I've yet to be shown that will be the case, but I'm willing to allow for the fact that there are going to be people that are going to enjoy this. I just don't think it's going to be the mega hit that it had the potential to be, because they're going to rely on, like, there being enough people that just the nostalgia alone is going to get them, butts in the seats, as it were, on their couch. And that's not going to be enough at this point.
Yeah.
It's just not enough. You still got to give us the quality.
Well, speaking of quality, I'm not going to probably engage in this at all. I mean, unless otherwise forced because somebody wants me to review it, because it would require me to go back and watch a few of the 5 seasons of the original series. And I don't know if I have the kind of time to dedicate to that to give it a proper review. I will say this: if they do make the changes, it'll be evident in the viewership numbers, because that's all they're banking on now is they're banking on your nostalgia to try to change your mind about their political ideology and the direction that they're trying to drag everybody kicking and screaming into the most regressive periods of our time on this planet. They're trying to go back farther than the 1960s, when we'd already started to put the beginnings of the settlement of all of this garbage into place. And I have no tolerance for that, because by the time I was out of high school, we were out of most of this garbage. So we'll unsubscribe from this show.
I don't know why people want to LARP the 1960s and 50s all over again, but
no, thank you.
Not cool. I will definitely watch the first episode, because if it's a train wreck, I want to witness it. Okay.
I have a feeling I'll have to review it for high council. So yeah.
Look, I'm going to tell you, watching Lorena watch something is more entertaining than the something. I'm just going to tell you.
That's because Lorena's Lorena.
I'm throwing that grenade for y'all.
She put the clip on Twitter that I used as an intro one day, where frickin' Ahsoka's doing a cartwheel on a moving spaceship somehow, and not like just going off into space with like no means of propulsion. I'm like, Somebody explained that to me. It was like
That was
That show was so bad.
hilarious moment.
so
I
bad.
laughed so hard. That's part of the reason why I enjoyed that show is because I like the enjoyment that I had was just laughing at everything. That was crazy.
Oh Lord, I'm just
Yeah.
like whatever y'all smoking when you write this stuff, it is definitely not the
Oh.
good stuff. Okay, it's just not. Hollywood was much more productive when they were running on cocaine and hookers. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, folks, 45 you guys in here watching, thank you so very much. I've been seeing all the awesome comments that you guys have been making. Obviously, you want to check out the show? Go ahead, check it out. Go ahead, check it out for yourself because we're not here to tell you what to do. We're just telling you what we plan to do, and we just chop it up for your entertainment. Yes, absolutely. And Pixie does too. Well, we're gonna get to our final topic, and I have to talk about this because I did fall on that grenade for Madam Web, which is a movie that
Oh gosh.
no one. Oh, who saw it? Did you see this, Andrew? Did you see
I
the
saw
train
it.
wreck?
We talked
You
about it
did?
on High Council last night. Oh my lord, Jeff. While I was watching the movie, and I was like, I did not watch this just happen. There's a specific moment when she drives the ambulance through the building to smack Ezekiel out of the air, and I was like, wait,
Yes.
no, I didn't just see that happen. That didn't happen. Nobody signed off on that. I'm having a fever dream or something. No, it actually happened. That script is just that abysmally bad. It is legendarily bad.
I think that's why I blocked it out. That's why I blocked it out.
I'm sorry to give you your non-flashbacks, Culture.
No, I blocked. That was dumb. And then they killed the ambulance. Oh my goodness! I don't even.
And then they had her doing CPR on a dude, and she's not. Again, if you're any kind of first responder, that film will piss you off. Oh my gosh, she's not giving breaths between every 15 compressions, and then this guy just sits up, and she's like, "Okay, sir, I guess you're better. All right,"
Yeah,
and she just
fine.
leaves. I'm like, if you've seen any kind of television show where there's an accident scene going on, there's constant activity. They're checking vitals. I mean, it looks real. It's just like, it's just another day, just another day, just another day. And how are we going to combat spider venom? Compressions, ladies. Like the hell? I honestly, I don't know who greenlit this thing or why they greenlit this thing, but I find it absolutely justifiable, and I love it that the Bob Marley biopic, and I did see the trailer for it. It looked
The
outstanding.
trailer looks solid.
It does. I love Bob Marley's music. His music is just it's so mainstream. So many people know about him. He's up there with like the likes of Hendrix with his musical genius, and it looked like a film for everybody.
Mhm.
So you could find out who this man was, his background, where he came from, and why his music is the way that it is. So I'm not surprised. This film, the Bob Marley film, earned $52 million over the weekend. Guess how much Madam Web made over that weekend? 26. Half of that. Half of that. And I read somewhere else, I don't know if it was Yellow Flash or it was Clownfish TV, where people were getting refunds on their tickets.
Yes.
For
I
Madam Web.
reported on that this morning. I was laughing. People were returning their tickets. It was so bad.
I look. I see a lot of bad movies, and I try to keep other people from seeing them. That's what I start with in my reviews. Right? Is I saw a movie, so you didn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, I'm like, nobody should see this movie. Nobody. This is a movie where my one word review was don't.
Yeah.
It made me sad too, because like Sony, I don't understand what their issue is, because they are determined to pump out these Spider-Man adjacent films with characters that people only really care about in context of like the relation to Spider-Man. They don't care about going to see these movies on their own.
Yes. That's what I told somebody. I said, if you're a normie and you're going to one of these, you're thinking, I'm going to see Spider-Man somewhere in this. I mean, they couldn't even say that the baby's name was Peter.
Yeah. They couldn't even name drop complete names. Like they don't say Parker. Oh, they say Richard. They say Mary, but they don't say Parker.
No.
They say Ben. They don't say Parker.
Mm-mm. No connection to Spider-Man whatsoever. So even as a normie, you'd be like, F this movie.
Yet somehow these people in Peru cover themselves in blood and twigs to make themselves look exactly like Spider-Man's suit.
Yeah.
Really?
I actually did not see the movie. I know everything that happens in the movie. Pretty much. But you know, it's one of those things. Now, I know a lot of people would say, like, how could you say anything about the movie if you didn't go see it? And I'm not going to say whether the movie, it looks like it's a movie that at least has a story. So that's my only requirement, and it looks like I would have a lot of fun watching this. That's my only thing. But from what I can tell from the interviews that were done with Dakota Johnson, she seems to be completely unenergetic and just totally checked out. I mean, they even asked her questions about, like, do you know anything about the lore? What other Spider-Man movies? she's completely like does not care. I don't like it doesn't look appetizing. The parts that look appetizing in the trailer where everybody has their suits on, they say it's not even in the film.
That takes up a total of about a minute of the screen time in the film. And it doesn't actually happen in present day. It is literally just visions.
Yeah, I mean that's the main part of, like, if you were gonna see something like this and you have this trailer, it goes into, shows you a lot of images, and it seems like those are the most exciting moments in the entire film from what I was able to gather from reviews, and also it seems like they don't really actually ever become the Spider crew, if you will.
No. We joke a lot about how, like, trailers always just show the best parts in the movie. That's literal in this case.
Yes.
That's exactly what I heard.
And it's sad because, I mean, you were saying earlier, what's her name? Dakota
Johnson.
Dakota Johnson. Yeah, very uninspired and, like, unenergetic, in interviews talking about this. The only one that seemed like she gave half a damn was Sydney Sweeney. There's an interview with her talking about, like, she didn't know a ton about this stuff, but she did research. She looked. An actor did their job and looked into information on the character they're supposed to be portraying.
Like, what?
And she was like, "Oh, I was learning all of these cool things, all these things that she does, and I was always noticing that she always shows up, or very often shows up, hanging in this specific pose, and how she always looks very elegant and almost ballerina-esque in her posing. It's like, and I wanted to do that. There's a scene where she comes down
from the ceiling,
from the ceiling. That scene only happened because she begged for them to do that.
For it.
Wow.
She was like, "It looks so cool and elegant when this character does that. Can we please do that?" Like, that's an actor being invested in the character, even if they didn't have much prior knowledge. They were trying to learn. And more actors, when they're portraying something that has an established history, you don't have to be the world's biggest Spider-Man fan. in order to play Spider-Man. You know what you do need to do? You need to find out who that character is.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
And again, I look, from the very beginning, this was going to be an origin story for a franchise. And that's said here in the title of the article. Well, not a lot of people knew that going in. I did. I knew this was supposed to
This
launch.
is not getting a sequel.
This is no, and it's not even getting the franchise that was supposed to go with it. It was supposed to give you several films. Obviously, these girls would be the central part of it. Madam Web would be the ancillary character at that point. They needed an origin story and a point to hinge everything to. But the look, Dakota Johnson likely played this character as she was told to. Right. Oftentimes when we say women are planks of wood, it's because they're being directed to be planks of wood because they want them to appear stoic and male, which and display masculine qualities, which women don't do well. I'm sorry, ladies. I apologize, but you aren't good men. Okay. So don't
Thank
do
God.
that. Yeah. This is why. Yeah. I have to tell you, I've never seen Retro Nerd Girl or Reina Creole look anything but feminine. So, I'm just saying. So, look, if you're a lady, be a lady. And ladies have the ability to do action roles just fine. We were talking about one of my favorites, Storm, right? You got Hallie playing that role. She was killing it, dude. And she knew what to do. And that gave her other opportunities because she was doing the right thing, playing a character quality, doing it as a lady. She got other feminine action roles because of that.
Oh, man, John Wick 3.
Oh, that's my favorite action role of hers. That's possibly my favorite role of hers in general.
Yeah, well, see, and I even appreciated her, and not just because of the nudity, but in Swordfish, right? Because she got to be a little sarcastic nerd that I wanted to see her be, right? And look, otherwise, everything else I'd ever seen her in, from Catwoman to whatever, I'd always appreciated that she took the necessary steps that Andrew described and did the research and understood what she was doing and the character she was playing.
She
and
understood the assignment, even if the script writers did not.
And imagine this. This is somebody who's been in both, now Marvel projects and DC projects. So congratulations to her. There's not a lot of actors or actresses that can say that.
We don't talk about that.
It was fine.
I try to forget that Catwoman happened.
It was fine.
Right.
I loved
popcorn. It was popcorn movie.
It was fine.
It's one of those where it's like,
okay,
put it on the DVD and load it up and watch.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you this, Andrew. You watch Catwoman, and then you watch Harley Quinn and the Fantabulous, whatever the hell the title was. And you tell me
that movie didn't happen.
I noped out of that movie 20 minutes in. I said I can't.
I don't think I made it a half hour. I went back to the house and watched the screener. And I was like, this is terrible.
I can tolerate rewatching David Ayer's Suicide Squad for no other reason than Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I cannot tolerate Birds of Prey. I can't do it.
It's totally different because with Margot Robbie in, Suicide Squad, that Harley Quinn outfit with, the baseball bat, Daddy's Little Monster, that costume was so popular for Halloween.
Oh my gosh, it was everybody.
Everybody had it.
I had friends who were cosplaying that. I'm like, what?
I'm like, I need that darn shirt. I don't care. I want that shirt because she looked hot in that shirt. But and in talking about femininity, it goes right back to this. Hollywood forgets the reason why people want to see female characters. They want to see female characters written well. They want to see them looking hot, and they want them to be feminine. Even women want to see hot, feminine women. Okay.
Yeah. Great example, Lara Croft. Probably the biggest female icon in gaming and fantastic in terms of and not even probably she is the biggest female icon in gaming and just one of the biggest icons in gaming just overall, right? And then the movies, though they weren't these massive successes, they did very well because Angelina Jolie was a great cast and the movies are fun. They're fun popcorn flicks. I own them. But that character was created to very specifically cater to both men and women, just in different ways.
Yes.
They wanted to create this character who men wanted to be with and women wanted to be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
absolutely
Women,
it.
they knew women were going to want to be doing the same badass stuff that Lara Croft was doing in the games or doing in the movies,
Yeah.
and dudes wanted to be with her. Simple as that.
100%. 100%.
Universally loved character.
Absolutely. But I tell you, it all makes sense because I don't know if you guys had heard about this. I believe it was reported through Puck News, but Breitbart picked it up. John Nolte was talking about it. Math challenge Disney exec blames sexist fans for serial flops. It's your
Oh my
fault.
God. Yeah.
It's
This is okay.
your
So
fault.
this is really angering here because you can't blame people for not going to the theater because you're not serving them. Okay.
You can't tell people this isn't for you and then get mad at them when they take that to heart.
Yeah. And then call them names. So obviously, someone like me who didn't go, I'm a sexist. Does that make sense?
To them,
Yeah, I get called that all the time.
I'm
not
does
being
that
called
make sense?
racist.
Yeah, it's right up there with you being called a white supremacist, Lorena.
It's
Yes, that's fair enough.
crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Look, you created a bad product that didn't serve your audience, and so they did not purchase your product. If you want to break it down to business terms, that is exactly what happened. It is not because you gambled on the wrong thing. Is what I'm saying. Gosh, this is really upsetting.
It's so it is, and these people are oblivious because this was actually, I believe, a DM that got leaked. Apparently, someone from Puck News heard this from a Disney executives. Yes, this is what Disney executives, the people in charge, think. So let's read what this says here. Everyone says it's the movie, stupid, which is an easy thing for people to say. More appealing movies are a great way to jump the political issues. But more and more, our audience, or the segment of the audience that has been politicized, equate the perceived messaging in a film as a quality issue. They won't say that they find female empowerment distasteful in the Marvels or Star Wars, the latest trilogy starring Daisy Ridley. That's quotes there. But they will say that they don't like those movies because they are bad. So make better movies becomes code for make movies that conform to regressive gender stereotypes or put men front and center in the narrative. This is how these people think, folks. This is what these people think about you.
I hear these things, and maybe it's because I actually grew up a geek and I grew up in the late 80s and 90s. And so I was exposed to all of these action films where there were female leads front and center constantly. That I look at and hear stuff like this and I just laugh. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, most of my favorite X-Men characters and Marvel characters in general are female characters. My favorite, or my second favorite DC character is Supergirl. You know, I grew up watching the Alien films and the Terminator films, Ellen Ripley, Sarah Connor, right? There's so many. Kill Bill was huge when I was a teenager, right? Everybody loved Kill Bill, and Uma Thurman was just kicking butt throughout the whole thing, right? There's so many. It would just be unfair if I brought up any anime because they pump out like strong female protagonists like it's going out of style. And they just make these people look silly. No, it isn't a sexist issue, Bob and all of your little cronies. It's a dog crap issue. We're sick of your low effort, pandering tripe that you try to pass off as a strong female character. Your version of a strong female character is giving her zero personality, nothing to do, but somehow she's the best at all of it. Or making her more like a man. What does that say about how you think of women?
And that's the part that insults me as a woman. You mean to tell me in order to compete with a man, I have to be a man. I can't lean into my own strengths, or if I do, that's somehow weak and looked down upon. It's so insulting to your audience. And I don't know why. Well, we do know why. Hollywood thinks that this is such a great idea to do. But yet when you look again, like for example, anime, Spy Family, I freaking love that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yours kicking somebody's ass, and she thinks she's about to, be beaten, and she's just like, ah, she's thinking about she's gonna miss getting her husband's shirts from the dry cleaner. So she's like, I got things to do. I have to take care of my family. So I need to, dispatch with this person.
I can't afford to lose this fight.
With the quits. Exactly. Can't afford to lose that. Foreign cinema does this extremely, extremely well. K-dramas. Oh my God. K-dramas, Indian movies, Indian films. Look into that. Go ahead, Culture.
I'm not going to put. All I want to do is I'm not pushing back on the Indian films because I love them, but some of the K dramas, I'm like, oh, please.
Some of them, yeah.
Okay.
I haven't run into if the ones that are like that. I think I watched one episode and said, okay, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, I got somebody's like, oh, you need to watch this Korean dramedy, whatever. And so I'm like, okay. I tried to get through the first episode. I'm like, maybe I don't get something. So it went into the second. I can't remember the name of it. And then by the time I got in the second episode, I'm like, I'm done. It just, you didn't hook me. And then, some of the films, I hate to say it, some of the South Korean films are hit or miss. So, I mean, it's just, it's not everything's going to be, Train to Busan or anything. So. Anyway,
early 2000s, you had the underworld films.
Oh, that's true.
And Celine's my favorite vampire. I'm not usually much of a vampire guy, but like Celine was the badass. It doesn't hurt that Kate Beckinsale is Kate Beckinsale, but they were fun movies. They're nothing amazing, but they're fun. And the draw is the main character, and the main character is a female. How about that?
Absolutely.
People didn't go see it for the male side characters. They went to see it for Celine.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, Culture, watch Divorce Attorney Shin. That is a K-drama that is really good. It's not going to end the way you think it is. It's really cool.
Well, wait, does he get divorced?
No.
Okay. Well,
he's a divorce attorney, and the story does not go the way that you think it is. And the ending, oh my God, I was in tears.
All right.
I was so in tears.
All right.
Yeah. That was awesome.
But I honestly think that the whole thing of saying that positioning a woman in the lead of a role is the answer to the failure or the success of a story. It's not. If you've created and crafted a story in which people can enjoy, I believe that most people want something to escape to, something fun, something exciting. If you try to at least make it, if you're going to make a fantasy, but also like pull us into the characters and allow us the opportunity to fall in love with them and not bash those characters into our faces and say, you better like this character, or you're going to be a sexist if you don't like this character.
All right. Actually, it was funny because Paul Chatto said something brilliant today. He often does. Former film and television executive, Paul Chatto. Polling News, that guy, call me Chatto. Anyway, I'm sorry. I just have to do that. It's like in my contract. All that stuff. Anyway, no, but he said something insightful. He said, nobody really understands what they used to understand in television, which was the Q score. You had a lot of actors back in the 80s and 90s. The actors male actors and female actors had very high Q scores. It meant how appealing they were to invite into your home, right? Not just visually, but just their general presence, mannerism, their ability to perform, et cetera, et cetera. You aren't going to invite a jerk into your house. And he said television is ultimately inviting somebody into your house. Same thing with film. It's just a different way. You're going to some other location to feel like somebody's inviting you into their story. Nobody does that anymore. And that's what, like, I just to add what you were saying, Retro Nerd Girl, you lovely thing, you were right on top of it. Nobody needs anything other than somebody then to feel comfortable inviting them in. I'm inviting you into my house. Are you worthy of me inviting you into my house? Right. And I think that's oftentimes the thing that gets missed the most is that I think he was spot on when he said that none of these things are appealing enough, even if they were to be write it brilliantly. Some of these changes that they make are not appealing enough to invite into your house. Some of these shows, some of these actors, some of the people that are surrounding it, some of these media people, like from the Mary Sue. I certainly wouldn't invite them into my house.
Hell no. I don't even want to invite them onto my computer screen, but they're good for a laugh.
Indeed.
Well,
It's interesting that you talk about. Oh, go ahead, Retro Nerd Girl.
Well, I was just just to bounce off that idea, and it's like it's getting people through the door. And I always say that exact word, but getting a person through the door to actually go to the theater.
Yeah.
And see the movie, or actually go to whatever streamer it is and find the thing that they're looking for and watch it, and spend a valuable amount of time to do just that. So what is going to get you there? Probably promotions, what people say about the story or about this project before it comes out. That means your actors and actresses have to actually sell the story and not do it properly. We all have access to public spaces and social media. We know the topics that are going to piss everybody off. How about say, look, this character that I'm playing is actually a wonderful character. Love playing her. I've done all the research about my character, and there were some changes, but I tried to retain some of the original spirit of the character. It makes you interested. You're like, okay, well, I want to see this. I want to see what this actor or actress is doing when they're leading with like a popular topic at the moment. We're combating this social issue. You're like, oh my God, this is like turning on the news. Get me away from all this,
That's a good point.
Yeah. And then recently we got a poster for Wicked. And I tell you, that is one of the most boring posters. And I don't mean to insult any actors, but I don't think not actors, but any artists that were involved. I don't think any artists were actually involved. It looks like it was a computer animated or AI derived visual. And the same thing I must say for the Beetlejuice poster that I saw too. It's like people don't care anymore. It's the laziest work that I've ever seen on two posters. It's awful.
Well,
and I don't. I'm like,
I'm gonna bring this up because two reasons. One, I want CJ to look at this because he'll tell me.
Okay.
I'm not really artsy, but I look at this poster and I think this is the one that you're talking about. Retro Nerd Girl. Is it this one?
Yes, it's awful.
No, it's not real.
Yeah, it's totally AI. And it's like, I'm like, where is the craftsmanship? Remember back in the days, even a low budget company like Canon Film,
right?
They used to come up with beautifully illustrated posters and made you want to go.
Like Die Hard. That poster, I love how that poster looks.
Yeah, it tells a story without giving away the secrets. And the first Indiana Jones movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark, I remember seeing that when I was a kid, and I was like, "What is this? This is wonderful. Where's the artistry? We're just leaving it up to computers. Why it doesn't cost anything? They save money." They get a visual.
It's true, but I actually have been enjoying making my AI thumbnails for my channel. So,
Well, I mean, your thumbnails are much better than this poster. I will just say that there are.
I will
They're
say
much better.
CJ's done a couple of my thumbnails. He does an extraordinary job, so he definitely can know the difference between AI and not. And then, but the ones I've been doing lately, just out of sheer desperation to get material out quickly, I have to say, they're not. What did CJ say something?
Oh no, I'm just looking at this. At first I thought these were, those cake toppers that they put on wedding cake. That's what I thought this was.
Well,
I'm like, I'm not an art expert, but something ain't right.
No.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this poster and turn it into a meme, and the shadow is going to be a pair of scissors. I put 2 scissors there. There you go. I'm a terrible person. I'm a terrible person. I won't even sign my name to the meme. I'll just send it out there in the world.
I honestly hope that there wasn't a human person who put this together, as far as like they probably asked the AI to do this, but I hope this wasn't.
It's too expensive for them to do.
Yeah,
because they would have to put the camera way up at an angle that, unless they were shooting a scene, it would make no sense. Today's petty award. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. But very, very quickly, I want to tell you, you delineated quite artistically and eloquently exactly what the difference is between then and now. Let me tell you that there are still people that get it, and I want to highlight him before we finish up. Ryan Reynolds gets it. Guy has the highest Q score on the planet. Dude knows how to market himself, his films, anything else. He skips a marketing department to do what he does, right? Anytime he markets something, you buy it, right? When he was selling his gin, which he really did sell the entire company, when he was selling Mint Mobile, when he was selling these things that he owned, that he took pride in, he didn't need a marketing department. He needed him. He needed him to say something silly, crazy, and funny, and do it all with the deadpan expression that he does so well. And guess what? Everybody loves him. And I mean, the dude was crushing it leading into this Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine film, right? Which I think is Wolverine and Deadpool, just my opinion. But I think it's going to be. I think the film is going to be okay, but I don't think it's going to bail out the MCU, the MCU.
Oh no.
Yeah, but I will. What I do think is that purely because of Ryan Reynolds, it might be all right. And I think everybody has that kind of faith in him. You don't have that faith in other stars, do you?
No, because I'm looking forward to that. And like, just as a test, camera girl who could care less really about superhero movies. That's, my nerdy thing. I said, I'm just curious. Watch the first 5 minutes of Deadpool and tell me what you think. She's watching it and she is just cracking up hysterically. She didn't even like comic book movies. The only other comic book movie she liked was Guardians of the Galaxy 2. The first one, not so much, but the second one she loved. She was watching Deadpool and cracking up. Not only that, but taking video to put up on TikTok. That's how I really know that she likes a film. And a lot of it has to do with, like you're saying, culture, with how Ryan Reynolds he's that salesman. He knows how to tap into what people want to see and what they respond to.
Yeah, and his career really took off once he discovered that he is the like secret sauce to not only like leading his movies, but marketing his movies, and also like just reaching out to the public and letting them know it's his project, right? So we have a certain amount of trust. There's a certain amount of trust with his brand, and I think from his failures like Green
Lantern
montage. I didn't notice this before the Deadpool movie. That in the opening montage, you see a wallet and it's got a Green Lantern card in it. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, Green Lantern, and also, when he was in the Wolverine Origins movie, um,
Yeah.
and he really took to heart what was going on there, and that changed him. I believe he became more outspoken. So yes, thank you for mentioning Ryan Reynolds and how good he is at doing all of this without being controversial.
Yeah. I just remember seeing going to watch Detective Pikachu. I only went because Ryan Reynolds was in it. Okay. So you're in the theater, the kids are loving it, they're watching it. Then you actually see Ryan Reynolds and all the adults start clapping. The kids are like, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah.
It was just an interesting thing. Thank you so much, Punk Black, for tipping $2. I appreciate that support
Oh.
my channel. Thank you very much. All your tips, super chats help the channel, especially as I've decided to be crazy enough to try and build my own PC. If I can't do it, I need to give my engineering degree back. Yeah, I already bought the case. Height 70, no touch screen. I'm just really concerned. That's a first generation. Who knows what the heck's going to go wrong with that? So
wait a minute.
I got the one without the touch screen.
Oh, okay. All right. No touch screen?
No, nah. I skipped the touch screen.
Right.
I can get a small one myself to put in
that's
there.
true. That's true.
Yeah, aftermarket. So yeah.
All right, now you got me. Now you got me interested in what you're going to do. So I got to see pictures, or it didn't happen.
You want to see it?
All
I'll
right.
let you folks. I'll let you see what it is that I'm talking about, because I was, but your girl is balling, but not.
Ooh.
So this is the one that I got. Yeah,
That's pretty. I like it.
Wow.
Dude, I can't wait till you go like Fanalicious in there too. Because I mean, you're gonna have RGB fest in that white case. It's gonna look nice.
Oh my goodness.
It's got space for three on one side, 3 on the bottom, 1 on the top left, and of course, like the radiator fans in the top. So
I can't wait to see. Now, don't. The only thing you don't want to do is don't underpower your machine. Make sure you buy a power supply that's more bigger than you need.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at least 1050 watts. Yeah,
there you
at
go.
least.
Yeah, because as you upgrade those GPUs, they take much power now. Oof.
And make sure you have enough slots for at least 2, preferably 3 solid state drives.
There you go.
3? Okay.
She's gonna host raids.
That's the only thing you're gonna be playing is just the Dreamlight
sure will.
Valley.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It is gorgeous.
Yep. And man, I'm telling you, I need a bigger computer so I can play all these other cool games. I gotta shoot stuff. Bigger, more better, something the current rogue artist missed them.
Straight truth coming from Glenn. Indeed.
So I'll keep y'all posted on that build. I'm excited because I need to play PC games, but my little mini PC, I've outgrown it for what it's.
It doesn't have enough hamsters.
No, it doesn't. When I had a small Disney Dreamlight Valley with not a whole lot of stuff, it was okay. But now that I'm like a gold coin billionaire with Scrooge McDuck money, and I've got developments all over the place, and yeah, it's like, oh hell no, I'm not built for this. So I'm gonna crash on you. Do a Henry Cavill and record yourself building it. Yeah, I'll record myself building it as soon as I get all the parts. I'm taking my time buying the parts because there's a certain aesthetic that I want, certain parts that I want. That sucker's gonna look straight out of Tron and look like a rave by the time I'm done.
I'm gonna have to get a new PC. A new PC myself too, because mine's beginning to show its age.
Yeah. When I replaced the motherboard on the Monster over here, and I was like, Oh, there's more options. I was like thinking I'm, balling with an i9 chip and, all the, everything that goes along with the motherboard. And I'm like, I'm behind. So yeah.
You
My
got
new
an evil
laptop is more
inside chip?
powerful than my.
I have to. I have to.
You have to get an evil inside. Yeah, I'm trying to decide between AMD or evil inside.
Evil,
That's
yeah.
what I call Intel.
Yeah, I was so close to pulling the trigger on an AMD, but I was like, no, I need that little extra horsepower. Yeah, it is what it is. So.
Yeah. I'm gonna have fun saving, buying parts, but yes, I will film myself.
If you wait till summer, I might be around, and I'll be the camera guy telling you you're doing it wrong.
Did you really were you really a computer engineer? What are you doing? What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Well, I want to thank all my guests for being on the panel tonight. I so appreciate you dropping in. Andrew, thank you so much for coming by. Retro Nerd Girl Culture. Want to go around and let you guys shout out your channels, what you got going on. So, Andrew, first what you got going on? Where can the people find you?
Well, you can find me over on the Twitter machine. I am the social media manager for both Eric July's personal accounts as well as the Rippaverse, so I run that account. So if you try to tattle on my personal account to the official account, which some people have tried doing, I'll just laugh at you because I run that account. I'm also the creative director and editor over at the Rippaverse, so you guys should be excited for a lot of the stuff we got coming down the pipeline. We got Yaira coming up here just around the corner. We just announced a new art book. It's going to be the art of Joe Bennett, which is pencils, selected pages from Alpha Core 1. Just the project is beautiful. Just looking at his raw pencil work is fantastic. I'm an art book guy, so that makes me excited. That's not me just shilling it because, I work for the company, but that's just me, the geek and the art book guy. And I also edited that book. So there's, dust off my shoulder there.
Nice. Folks, definitely do go follow Andrew over on the Twitter, Twix, the cesspool, our friends hang out in. That's pretty much what it is. Culture, what do you have going on, my dear? Let the folks know about.
Well, tonight I'm working on a video for tomorrow that obviously Grant will have to edit. It is about how, things are coming to a near standstill in Hollywood, and the strikes led to 1/3 of the jobs now being available as what was there before, and what the ramifications of that are. So that'll be tomorrow's video, both in film and television, but I'm focusing on television because one of the articles I found focused on television. But anyway, you can check that out, and check out the video I did on Disney's 4th lawsuit in 30 days, which I can tell you, yeah, they've been sued 4 times in 30 days.
Wow.
I know people are going by my channel going, did he just do another video on the same thing? No, those are 4 separate videos from 4 separate times getting sued. And we'll be talking about that on That Park Place tomorrow morning. So if you get a chance to swing by that, I will be guesting over there. And otherwise, I appreciate all of you. My channel's growing like a weed. You need to make your girl's channel grow because she needs to get up there too. It's too much distance. I'm closing in on the 20K mark that I was aiming for. We're sitting at we're sitting over 18K now, on our way to 19, and I think it's possible by March 1st I could get to 20K. But if you're not subscribed to me, check out the channel, and even if you don't like me, just subscribe, please. Anyway,
hit the sub button
thanks for having me. Thanks for having the old guy around. I feel like a charity case.
Nah, you're not a charity case. We like having you around. And Retro Nerd Girl, my dear, please let the folks know where they can find you and what you have coming up.
Well, you can find me on YouTube mostly. I'm dropping all kinds of things here and there, live streams, some reviews, and just hit me up there and browse around my channel. There's a lot of reviews of older movies that I think maybe you might like. And also, you can check me out on X. I'm on there on occasion. So, those are the 2 places.
All right. As for your girl, Got videos coming out. Saturday, I will be having a live stream in the evening about, let's see, probably start about 8:15 because the Bare Naked Ladies are going to be live at Universal Orlando. I will remember to bring my earplugs like I forgot when I saw Casey and the Sunshine Band on Sunday. My ears were kind of ringing a little bit because I was in the front row. So that's going to be Saturday at 8 p.m. But also 10:30 in the morning, I'm going to be over at Gatorland. Going to see if that new leucistic little baby gator, I think only one or two in the world. She's all white and has blue eyes. She's not an albino. Albino has red eyes, but she has blue eyes. So I think her habitat is done.
Is done. Cool.
It's done, yeah, because they had to first say to make sure she was okay, and then have the habitat built so people could come out to see her. So hopefully she will be out there on Saturday. And if we don't get to see her, guess what? We're going to see the Gatorland Jumperoo, where they're hanging chicken out, and the gators come, and they actually have to try and eat it. And yeah, it's so freaking Florida. It's hilarious.
Yeah, Florida.
Fun. It's so much fun. I love it. And of course, Sunday, 8 p.m., Welcome to Florida show. Culture is on that show with me as well. We're going to be talking the salty villages. Old folks writing nasty letters to the editor. The villages is crazy. So yeah.
Oh yeah, that community, right? Oh
yeah. That one. That one. Bring your loofahs, your colored loofahs, folks.
I got them.
Oh, definitely. And before I forget, I think it's going to be Thursday if I get myself together. Going to be premiering the watch party that Retro Nerd Girl and Mark with a C and I did for They Cloned Tyrone. Do not sleep on this film from Netflix. It is literally, it's a cross between a blaxploitation film and a science fiction film, and the twists in that film are just insane. So definitely watch out for that video premiere to drop. So folks, as always, thank you so much for supporting my channel. Thank you so much for hanging out here in the Spice Lounge for all that spicy conversation and hot takes. I love getting all those from my guests. Spicy takes and hot comments from you guys out there in the chat. Take care, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.